I mean, now Marianella de la Hoy's, now this one and that one. There are about 5 people like me here, but we're very quiet. We're not very out doing it because we're out there doing what we do. We don't do galleries, we don't have shows, we don't do any of that.
But you're not going to create a cultural movement in San Diego by doing that. The way that you're going to create a cultural movement in San Diego is by having people to realize that the culture of San Diego needs to be expressed in an honest way by whoever is here, other than pretending to be something else. And in that moment, the validating of the culture on here, that it will be honest, that the artists will be saying not only the beautiful things in San Diego, they will be saying also the ugly things of San Diego. That will create a movement in here that the world will start looking into here.
Shows his Tijuana drawings in Germany and talks about Tijuana and the artists in Latin America.
We know Ugo.
That's a cultural movement.
Not a big deal.
All right.
Moderator.
All right. Let's bring it back to the panel though for this one briefly. Did you address these already? These were important items to some of us. Who's selling in San Diego? Who's buying? What are they buying? What's the notion of the San Diego art market? Is it this having a dealer? Is it putting it? Okay, and we'll start with David since he is the gallery owner.
Well, I guess I just have sort of one little tiny pet peeve, and that is, I think a lot of art shows in San Diego need to, or just the general atmosphere needs to be not party first and then art second. I think that it needs to be art first and then, okay, maybe we'll have a party around this art. But a lot of it is, the vast majority of shows you go to, it ends up feeling much more like there's a party and there's something on the wall over there, like, oh, that's cool. and then that's it. So I mean, why would anybody take it seriously? If somebody's going to write about the artwork, why would they take a scenario like that seriously and choose to write it, or choose to look at it, or choose to buy something? That type of environment. I'm just going to leave it.
All right, Patricia, I know this was an important question for you, or I thought it was.
Well, I am, having been used to living in London, where I would have shows that would sell out, and coming to San Diego and having shows where people make lovely comments about it, but people don't buy. And in my experience, people in San Diego don't buy very much. The things that they do buy, because that's what the question starts, that I've noticed, and I'm not talking about the international collectors that are buying art here. I'm sure they're buying art in, all around the world. I'm not talking about the very highest echelon. Works made by children sell to their parents very well here in San Diego. I've certainly noticed that. Highly discounted artworks sell beautifully at art charities and any kind of charity. So any kind of charity auction that you go to, the art sells wonderfully and it's always highly discounted. And I think that's terrible. It gives the art, the people the idea that, first of all, art is a charity itself, and secondly, it gives them the idea that you can buy art cheap. And so I don't like to see a lot of art charities, actually. Art seems to sell from one artist to another artist in San Diego. I've noticed an awful lot of that. And I guess we're lucky that there are wealthy artists that live in San Diego that help to support that market. Certainly at the San Diego Visual Arts Network, we're very well supported mainly by artists, even though we try to get everyone to support us, but and in fact there are donation envelopes out in the hall. There's a very, very few commercial galleries. I was appalled when I came here to see how few commercial galleries there are. And the reason those galleries survive is that they know their clients. They know exactly who their clients are and what they are marketing to their clients, and when they discover a new artist, they know who they can sell that work to, and their clients trust them to find artwork that's interesting to them. They don't, those clients don't have the time to go and scour the whole world. They're looking to their galleries to find interesting arts for them to buy. So in the few galleries that do make it here in San Diego, I have to believe that that's one of the reasons, is that they're working hard for that. I think the better question tonight might be what could sell in San Diego instead of what does sell in San Diego. And I certainly think that icons of the youth culture could sell here. I mean, I think that we have a huge population that is attending things like Ray at Night and Kettner Nights and Escondido Nights and Cedros Nights, you know, that are all new things that have come in the last 10 years. There is a huge population of people that go, there's 300,000 people turn up for Art Walk, right? But then where do they go after that? You know, we're sort of laying the groundwork for these people, but now they need to take a step up. They're not going to do it this year or next year because of the economy, but there's going to be some time, hopefully, when the economy swings around, where these are going to be younger people that are going to say, okay, I went to a Ray at Night when I was young and couldn't afford it. Now I can afford it. Now I'm going to start buying. So I think that that's a possibility. The other possibility of what could sell here is that art could sell as a status symbol in San Diego. But we would have to convince the rich local people that it was a status symbol. And so far we haven't been able to do that on any kind of a scale at all. And that might be an antithesis to what you want, but that's really, again, a lot of the name of the game for art, which is an elitist thing, is to have it be perceived as a status symbol. In San Diego, it doesn't seem to be perceived that way to me. And then there was another part of the question that I just wanted to do right now, and that's the idea that artists would somehow sell out by making art that sells. I don't know what art sells. You know, I don't know how you can decide. Maybe there are a very few artists that are so strong in marketing that they've got this gimmick and they can market with this gimmick, and then a lot of art sells and they do really, really well. And I find that interesting, not as art, but as a phenomenon that's kind of interesting. But I'm not really interested in that kind of art. Artists that set out and say, well, I'm going to make a living at it, so I'm going to make something that sells, you know, so be it.
Or art dealers
Most
with
artists
that mentality.
don't have a clue, and I don't think most people have a clue what sells. It's much more intuitive than that.
Did either of you want to comment on this again?
I think that the only way that art sells, other than the kind of informal network that you were alluding to, like artists selling to artists, and you know, a few people who are just so passionate that they buy from the artist, is if, you know, an art dealer or art gallery is steadfast in their support for an artist. Collectors have to see that a dealer really believes in that work, really believes that that is really good art. Of course, they could probably sell work that's not that good if they believed in it that much and were persuasive too. But it really goes to that point of the passion of the art dealer showing the work and believing that it is that good. You know, I mean, I think that does help sell work, and I don't see that. I mean, you know, galleries come and go, and so you don't have that kind of steadfastness, I think. Certainly, I think a good example probably is Mark Quinn, who stuck by certain artists all the way through. Obviously, you know, there were other things that sold Manny Farber's work through the years, but part of it is Mark's belief in the artist too. Jean Lau, other artists that he shows, I think it's that sticking with it quality. You know, and sometimes it's also, you know, there is some circumstantial stuff to it. I'm just going to tell one quick story and then I'll turn it over to you. And that is Richard Allen Morris, who for years made pretty wonderful paintings. And really didn't sell very much. But, you know, it now sells all of his work over in Germany and Switzerland because of certain artists who believed in his work, stuck by him, and kept hammering the idea that this was a wonderful artist, and then the work sells here too, but it sells even more there.
He's having